Hello and welcome to Movie Mandates. I'm Kelly,
And I'm Andrew.
and this is the show where my brother and I force each other to watch a movie based on a specific monthly theme. It's April, and could have been a porno month. So on our previous episode, brother chose Fun with Dick and Jane, but today we are talking about my pick, Holes. But before we get to that, since I chose the movie this week, it is only fair that brother gets to challenge me in a little segment we call Trivial Trivia.
All right. So, Holes has an impressively stacked cast.
Right? Awkward,
Yeah,
but
I
live for it.
honestly I knew Shia LaBeouf was in it, but that was it.
That was it.
I didn't know who else was in it.
Not a clue.
Don't
Sigourney
know that
Weaver
I
comes
ever
out.
even
I was
saw
like,
it. Yeah,
surprise.
I know. So, here's your challenge for today.
Oh, crap.
Name three cast members of Holes using a quote from one of their other movies. For example, if Humphrey Bogart were in this movie, you might say, "Here's looking at you, kid."
So
And I'd
there
say,
is no
"Aha,
Dana,
Casablanca."
only Zool.
Sigourney Weaver. I mean, technically, that was Ivan Reitman who did the ADR for that line, but her character Dana Barrett does deliver that line. So, so yes, exactly. So that's one.
Now, you just told me something that I don't know. They didn't manipulate her voice. Ivan did it himself.
Yeah, that's not Sigourney Weaver's voice. That's Ivan Reitman. There is no Dana, only Zool. That's Ivan
Come on.
Reitman. He also, my understanding is he also did the vocals for Slimer.
Okay.
So that that kind of noises. Um, I don't know if he did any of the terror dog grunting or anything like that, but at least
Interesting.
that's what my memory tells me from I think the commentary track on the Ghostbusters commentary track. So, but
Very,
yes,
very
you've got the
interesting.
idea. So that's one.
All right. All right. Um, let's see who else is in the movie. You have, well, John Voight's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. Foles cast. I just want to know their name. Okay. So, God, what is John Voight in? He's a crazy, crazy son of a and everything. And it's crazy because, and I know this, they look nothing alike, but I get him and Billy Bob confused,
Billy Bob
which is
Thornton.
also a little disgusting because one of them is the father of Angelina and one is the ex-husband of Angelina. So it's kind of weird that I get them mixed up.
Huh.
Only because they're both off their rocker.
Oh, is Billy Bob Thornton off his rocker too?
Sure, they all are. I might get back to him.
Okay.
So Kronk, pull the lever, Kronk.
Eartha Kitt. Yeah,
That one's easy. Um,
that's two.
oh, that woman, the mother. I know her from something. I know her from something. What do
Yes,
I
you
know her
do.
from? She was, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see it, and I can see
Mm-hmm.
her facial expression, and it's very like big red lips.
1997
Oh my gosh.
summer movie, summer blockbuster.
I can see it. I can see it. I can see it, but I don't know who. Um, because like she came on and I was like, oh, that woman.
Yeah, I actually don't know her name.
I
I
don't
know
know
who
her
you're
name.
talking about, and I know exactly what movie and what scene you're going. Well, it's the only scene she's in, but or well, no, she's in technically two scenes. But what is her name? Well, let's see.
I don't know. I don't. Oh, I could, I guess, just go for her husband and go, hey, is that what he says? The Fonz when he goes, hey.
Oh, sure. Henry Winkler, and well, that's Happy Days. It's not a movie, but
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Henry Winkler is in the movie where he plays a principal and the janitor's
yes,
name is Freddie and he goes Freddie or hello Freddie or something. And
he says, not you, Fred, because he's like those stupid little shits. And he goes out in the hall. And
yeah,
not you, Fred.
not you, right?
So that's Scream, 1996, maybe.
I'm like, what movie is that he says that? What is that woman's name? Did you look up her name?
Oh, let's see. I have to look at the extended cast to see her. Like, I don't think her name is going to help you much.
Oh, that's true. I'm just wondering if I'm gonna kick my shin because I can't. I see it. I see it so vividly.
Her name is Siobhan Fallon Hogan. Jesus.
Okay, now I have to look. Hold on. Where
It's
are
like
you?
mostly a TV actor.
Okay, so by the way, this is going to blow your mind. I just found her. Her first name, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Siobhan.
Whose
Yep.
first name is Siobhan?
The woman, the wife, the mother. Siobhan spells, wait for it, Siobhan.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, okay. That's how you pronounce that. Okay.
yep. I
Huh.
learned that sadly the hard way, and I've never forgotten it
Well, I mean, if you know someone with that name, sure.
because I called
So,
them
all
Siobhan,
right.
and they're like,
So the movie you're thinking of is a sci-fi movie. It was in the summer of 1997, which followed the summer of 1996, which had another huge sci-fi movie starring the same actor, same main actor. She's not the main actor of the film. They're both sci-fi movies.
well, 96 was Jurassic Park, right?
No, that would have been 93.
Free fudge.
So Roland Emmerich movie.
It's not Mars Attacks.
No, that's a Tim
It's
Burton movie.
oh, it's not Independence Day, is it?
That was the movie that came out the
redheaded girl.
summer before, starring the same lead actor. Who
Is it
starred in Independence Day?
Will Smith?
And what movie what sci-fi summer blockbuster did he follow up with the very next summer?
It's not I Am Legend because no one else
That
is in
was
that
several years
movie.
later. He did a
I,
rap
Robot
song
is
for
not.
he did a rap song for the soundtrack.
Oh, Wild Wild West?
Not Wild Wild West, the other one. Holy shit. I bet everyone listening to this is like, how is she not getting this? Her scene partner is Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn and Will Smith have a movie together?
No, I'm sorry. Not Vince Vaughn. D'Onofrio.
Men in Black.
Men in Black.
He's got an Edgar suit on. And
Yes.
Edgar, your skin is falling off your bones.
There you go. Not not Vince Vaughn. Vincent D'Onofrio is who I was going for. Wow. Man, I'd been there. It's just like not coming.
See her, and like she's drinking, and she's like, and she speaks.
Your skin's falling off your bones.
Yeah. Oh my god! I saw the whole thing in my head, but I
had the same thing. I was recording one of the Gem of the Holograms comic reviews, and I could not think of and I forgot her name again. That Vocaloid with the green hair, Hatsune Miku. I kept saying Haruhi Suzumiya, which is a character from some random other anime. But Hatsune Miku is a Vocaloid, and I was like, I cannot think. And I said, I have to go look this up and typity. And it's really hard to look up the name of a Vocaloid that you can't remember their name. It's like the Vocaloid, the anime Vocaloid, the one with the green hair and the skirt. And it's not narrowing it down any.
It reminds me when we were younger, and no one's gonna understand this anymore, but when we were like, how do you spell fill in the blank? Go look it up in the dictionary. Well, if I knew how to spell it, I could look it up.
Yeah, it's looking up pneumonia for quite a while.
But due to the fact that I don't know, when in doubt, look in the P section. Silent P's abound in the English language. Oh, let me show you my new coaster. It is a cat butt.
So
yes, please
a
continue.
cookie cutter that's in the shape of a cat walking away, which is cat butt cookies. It's pretty funny.
Cat butt cookies.
Actually, I haven't seen the cookie cutters. I just saw the cookies. I'm like, okay, that's pretty damn funny.
That's pretty funny. But see, who else is in the cast? We have when Eartha Kitt. I nearly forgot how old the movie was until she came on, and I was like,
yeah, she's passed away a while ago. This movie's 20 years old, so.
Yep. And it took me a minute to be like, oh my, it's 20 years old, because I still see Sigourney Weaver that way. Like, that's still like in my head what she looks like. So
very graceful ager. That's Sigourney.
Yes. But so it's just one of those things that, like, to see Eartha, I was like, wait, when was this? Oh, 2003.
Yeah. So we've also got Shia LaBeouf. I don't know that I've ever actually heard his name pronounced. I have no idea how his name.
I think it's Buff. LaBeouf.
LaBeouf. Okay. Tim Blake Nelson.
Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette.
Dule Hill, whom I love.
Dule Hill, who I had to look up his name because I recognized him. He's all over he's a big television actor. He's been TV actor, but mostly TV.
Yeah. He was in West Wing and Psych, and he tap dances.
Yeah. Oh, he's tap dancer?
He's a great tap dancer. Yeah. Yes. Because I like tap. Who else is in it? Jon Voight. I didn't recognize Mom. The not Mom, the mother who's Edgar, your skin's falling off your bones, but the camp doctor that they call Mom. Is he someone? I didn't.
Yeah, that's Tim Blake Nelson.
There it is. Okay. You said the name and I didn't even put it together.
Yeah, he played let's see, Samuel Stearns in the Incredible Hulk movie.
I would say he's a Marvel guy.
He's only been in that one role, but he is going to show up as the leader, I think, in the next Captain America movie, something like that. So
he's in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
He is, yeah. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's one of those. I recognize him. What have I seen him in? Everything. Yeah. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Couldn't. Oh, brother, where art thou? Yeah.
Yeah. He's in that too.
Yeah. Okay. Because he's just one of those that you see and you're like, I know you. But like the name is like, yeah. The face is like, yeah. And then you look it up and you're like, oh
yeah.
But no, it was an extremely stacked cast. And I must say, though, that Mr. Shia LaBeouf looked exactly like the kid from Boy Meets World. Have you ever seen Boy Meets World?
I'm aware of its existence. I don't know that I've ever seen it.
So I don't know the actor's name. I forget. Ryder Strong is the one who played his friend.
Okay.
But Ryder Strong's the one who played his friend. But I don't remember what his name was. And it literally like could be his doppelganger. I didn't realize that that's what Shia LaBeouf looked like young. Like, truly, I was like, that doesn't even look like him.
Is it Ben Savage?
Yes, it's Ben Savage. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is of relation to Fred. But I do not know. It's just the last name, Eisen. That doesn't mean anything, but I thought, long history, that it was. But that could have just been like me trying to fit things into my small little brain as a child. I'm like, well, Savage, there must be only one family.
There can be only one.
There can be only one. So, I went into this movie blind. How did you enter the movie? Well, I mean, I can see, let's be real. Although I did have an eye appointment this morning, and apparently my astigmatism has gotten worse. That being said,
I am 0.25. I don't know what the measurements are, but I'm slightly more nearsighted in my right eye. I went to the optometrist a couple weeks ago too. Yeah. And my prescription was something 0.50. Now it's something 0.75. So I'm slightly more nearsighted in my right eye, the one with the astigmatism.
Mine both have it, and they're just different astigmatisms. And like the dude, like my doc, like literally was looking at it. He goes, "Whoa!" And I'm like,
Don't
"Not what
say
you need to
that.
say." Incorrect, sir.
That's like having a
Incorrect.
colonoscopy or a gynecological exam or something, and the doctor going, "Oh
Oh,
Jesus!" It's like, no,
oh,
don't say that. Or, oh, that's gross. It's like, what the hell is that?
it's
Not
all
things I
sticky.
want to hear.
No, no, not the reaction you're wanting at that moment. But no, so
I'm going to consult WebMD.
here's what I knew about holes going in,
Mhm.
and then we can discuss. I'm gonna be like not mature enough to have this conversation today with you.
Yeah,
Here's what I know about going
we're
into
gonna have
holes.
to plumb the depths of Andrew Davis's holes, who is the director who I had to look up because I don't
Yeah,
know
I
who
don't
that
know
is.
him. I don't know him. But what I do know is A, I have heard nothing but good things about this movie for like ever. Everyone, I know it's a book, and everyone was like, it's a wonderful book. I love the book. And then they see the movie and they're like, oh, it was so good, so good. Like, I've only ever heard good things. That is what I knew going into the movie because
Every
I didn't
movie you
even know the
watch,
plot.
you can 90% chance there's a book. But I actually
Fair enough.
didn't know. I've never heard of the book before, and I don't know who wrote it.
An
Although
author.
apparently the dude who Dole
Julie Hill.
Sam, I think the character's name was.
It is Sam, I think.
He's like, "Sir, take off your hat and rub this crap on your head. Rub onion juice on your head,
Yeah.
and your hair will grow." That guy's apparently the author of the book in a cameo.
Interesting.
Um, what I just wanted to, not to,
No,
you know,
no, all good.
put the cart before the horse here, but the movie has an interesting structure in which it's surprisingly about family legacies. So the interesting structure of the film is it keeps jumping backwards in time to several different time periods and several different
Yes. Yeah.
peoples to inform what's happening in the present, to tell a full history
Yeah.
for its story. And I was watching that and I was like, that this is it's kind of annoying me. I think this would work fine as a book, but as a movie, it's just jumping around too much where it's starting to annoy me.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and then I found out it's based on book by. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, okay, it probably works better in the book. Not that it doesn't work, but because when a book does that, it's usually a
New
good full
chapter.
chapter where you get to luxuriate in the new setting for a while. Uh, and usually it's a new chapter. So you see that new chapter come up and you're like, reset. In the movie, it's just, to be they don't use title cards, but to be fair, it is clear when it's jumping setting.
Yes,
Um,
it is, but it's please continue.
but it's like, oh, but the movie's 2 hours long
Yeah.
and it's doing its best to encapsulate a pretty large story
Yeah.
that I still think could have been cut by about 20 minutes. But the movie is still seemingly too long and also rushing through stuff. So a lot of times it'll flash back, but only for like a minute and a half, and then you're like back to the present. It's like, sit in a scene for a while, would you? Um, Not always, but sometimes it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, we established this, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So I was kind of amused. It's like, oh, book, yeah, okay, yeah, that probably did work better on the page, but
It took me a minute regarding the flashbacks since we're on this, and then we can get back to what we're talking about. So Madame Patricia Arquette plays, um, Dule Hill, Sam, his love interest. She's a
Kate
school
something,
teacher. Huh?
Kate something, kissing
Yeah,
Kate
kissing
something,
Kate something, but her name is, Kat. But like the first time you meet her, she is
Barlow.
the outlaw Kate. Oh yeah, because it's KB. So
Yeah,
it's
I know it's a
she,
B. I'm trying to.
yeah. So the first time you meet Patricia Arquette, she is acting as the outlaw Kate Barlow. She
Mm-hmm.
already is, because they do a flashback of that first.
Barlow, yeah.
And then fast forward like 20 minutes, and they do a flashback to before she became the bandit. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just her as the school marm. And it took me a moment, because I was like, are they doing flashbacks in a ensemble sort of way?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, because even though her name was Catherine, I wasn't there yet. Like kissing Kate Barlow and then Catherine, because they never say her last name. She's just
They
Miss.
also, shoot her with her hat down like this,
Yes,
so,
but I
so you
know
don't.
who Patricia Arquette is.
Yeah, I
That was another
recognized her
thing.
too.
Because immediately I was like, oh, Patricia Arquette. Immediately. Because I just know who she is. And
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you in that they did their best to try to and once I realized what they were doing, that I was like, oh, this is now the story that turns her into Kate Barlow, and that makes sense. And I love this. I really did like how everything tied together, but I will say there were definite, like, I wasn't I it took me a while to get onto the same page that they were showing me. They're like, we're here, Kelly. And I'm like, hold on. I don't know if I'm there yet.
Yeah, the movie has its own flow, and honestly, it took me about an hour to get on the same wavelength of this film, to
Yes.
groove with
Yes.
the film.
It was I didn't take an hour, but like, I will be very clear that I have ended the movie enjoying it. I
Mm-hmm.
really do enjoy, and honestly, I think the book is probably incredible, because I really do like how all of the storylines converge. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything, like I
Yeah,
love
I,
from the
I,
shoes to the smell in the shoes to the onions to the peaches to
to
the
the
like
thematic tying between
every
everything. Right? Yeah.
single piece of information is wrapped up quite nicely. I am sure that in the book it's even wrapped up better. Um
I think
because
it's paced out well too. Like the reveal of what Zero's name is. Like,
yes, yes.
oh,
Oh.
okay, I see what we're doing now.
And
All
look at
right.
you, do look like Eartha Kitt's descendant. Good for you. Well,
Yeah.
good casting. But like I also will say, because of how in depth like some of these connective tissues need to be, it took me a long time to get into, well, I'll talk about getting into the movie, but it did take me a while to get into the movie, and I'll tell you
Took
why
you a
in a
while
little
to
bit.
get into the holes.
It did, well, they can be a little
Those
tight.
holes offered some resistance.
you know Normally you stop digging when you find resistance, but yeah, sometimes you gotta push on through. Point is, um it also made it, because of it, the movie, everyone was kind of like, there wasn't a lot of depth. Everyone was a trope, kind of, because no one could like, like I love Sigourney Weaver, but like, and yeah, she had a backstory, and because she's Sigourney Weaver, she can relay anything or convey anything to you.
I loved
But
her final moments in the movie. She's like,
I just
"Hey,
want to see what's inside.
everyone, I'm gonna act the shit out of this, and you all gonna watch." And she
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
I'm like, she's so
It's
good.
She's so good.
John Voight, on the other hand, he's in a completely different movie.
He's in a completely different
I don't
movie.
know what Andrew, what's the director's
Davis?
name? Andrew something.
Did you not say Davis earlier?
I think I did. Andrew Davis, yes. I
Yeah.
don't know, but maybe he just doesn't like John Boyd. It's like, screw that guy's an asshole. It's just like, okay,
Yeah,
he
it
didn't look
was,
like there's nothing wrong with his performance per se. It's just in the wrong movie.
yeah, it is definitely
Tonally,
a
it's completely wrong.
cartoony sort
Yeah,
of. I mean, even his stance and his hunch over and his,
yeah,
like, he had to put on a gut. Like, that had to be a suit of some sort, because he
so
doesn't have the
weird.
body. But like, everything was weird about him. But
Like, I mean, there was the flashback to the ancestor of Stanley Yell
Yalnats,
Nats.
which I
Um,
hate more than anything I can. I understand. I am totally interrupting you, and I get it, and I am sorry. Please put a pin in that, because I know that anything can be a name. Siobhan means Siobhan. Like, I get it. Anything can be a name. Some people's last name is Table. I'm sure that there's a Mr. and Mrs. Table out there. But Yelnats itches me in such a negative way that I'm like, you tried so hard and you failed, you loser. Good day, sir. It's so fake. I'm like, there is not a Yelnat. It's period. End of story.
If
I'm
our
done with
listeners
it.
are not getting it, his name Stanley, his last name Yelnats is Stanley spelled backwards.
So it's a tradition in their family to name everybody Stanley.
Yeah, he's Stanley
because the last name is
Frederick.
Yelnat. So how funny is it that your entire name is anagram?
No, that well, I mean,
Anagram is mixing
technically,
up.
yes, because it's the same letters, just organized differently.
Palindrome.
Now, palindrome is read the same way forward as backward, like
So is Stanley Yelnats, because that's the whole point. Is Yelnats is Stanley backwards. So if you did it,
no, it would have to a palindrome would have to be Stanley both ways, because one way it's Stanley, the other way it's Yelnats. A palindrome is like Bob.
But if you did Stanley Yelnats, Stanley Yelnats.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So the first and last names together would be a palindrome.
Yes.
So yeah, okay.
So I get how cutesy it's supposed to be. They chose the wrong
you hate
name.
parents who do that.
First off,
also the name Yelnats has probably never existed in the history of.
And that's the thing. I'm like, I can't. And every time they said it, I'm like, it's cringe. I didn't like it. Anyways, the Yelnats, that part.
It's like Dave Evid or something. It's like
they're like, we're gonna shoehorn this in here. We're really gonna shoehorn it.
Yeah.
Because even when you see it written, it looks wrong. There's something that it does not look like a real name. Because you see it written on the treasure chest. And I'm like, that ain't a name. No one's name is that. That is Arabic. Aramaic. Whatever. It's a different language.
Yeah.
Please go.
The flashback that is covering the legend of how the first Yelnats got cursed is presented in a heightened, exaggerated way, which makes sense because it's the telling of a legend. That's the one. It's the one that has Eartha Kitt in it, and so John Voight, the way he's performing the character, would have been fine, like in that legend sequence. But in the modern day, his performance just doesn't fit.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Oh, hey, here's my impression of the producers for Holes. All right.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm gonna give you money to make Holes. I'm gonna give you money for cast. I'm gonna give you money for crew. I'm gonna give you money for sets and costuming. But I ain't giving you a single goddamn dime for visual effects.
Oh my gosh.
Particularly digital effects, computer effects, because god damn, even for 2003.
I was like, Jeremy and I are both like, did they just paint those bearded dragons? And I'm like, yeah, methinks they just put some blush on a bearded dragon and then completely CG'd in every time it was moving.
Yeah.
Because they could make it go. And I'm like, as someone who has been bit by lizards more than once, you can make them hiss and be like, I mean, yeah, it was a very. And
beardies don't have vampire teeth. They also what's weird is the yellow spotted lizards, which was this made up desert lizard that its bite is usually fatal, or I think is fatal. They claim. So I guess a child dies in this movie. No, that's a rattler. That it's not the yellow lizard that gets him. It's a rattler. But so these yellow lizards are presented as an amalgamation of a bearded lizard and a frilled lizard, the one with that gets up on its hind legs and starts running.
Yes,
with like the temperament and venom of a Gila monster.
Yeah,
which is a weird combo. But there's a scene at the end of the movie where our two heroes find the treasure, but in the they pull the treasure out of it's buried, it's the wall of dirt, and they're like, here it is, and they pull out the treasure, and a bunch of the yellow spotted lizards come out, and so they spend the next 3 or 4 minutes of this scene just covered in yellow spotted lizards, which for most of the shots are just a bunch of bearded dragons hanging out. And I'm like,
Yeah, hanging out.
like
So cute. So cute.
I couldn't get into the tension of the scene because I'm like, oh, they're so adorable. And then just some shots, it would be, I guess they were sleepy or ornery and they weren't behaving, so we had to CG them. Or
Yeah, it
anytime
was.
one of the actors had to move, they're like, okay, if we don't want to accidentally drop a bearded dragon. So, man, the CG was terrible,
It was
just
terrible.
distractingly bad. But those lizards are cute. What was
So
funny is in the credits, the the bearded dragon wrangler and the holes wrangler, same guy. He had the same job. It was he was billed as uh either lizard or bearded dragon and holes supervisor or something like that. I'm like,
that's hilarious. I
did
didn't
they
even.
just get the animal supervisor? It's like, Larry, can you just make sure no one fills in the holes? Make sure they don't go anywhere, I guess. Just supervise the holes. Put a tarp on it overnight to
Yeah,
make sure it
make
doesn't
sure there's
rain.
no wind and that the
Yeah.
stuff goes back in. Speaking of those, that's one of the things that I thought was very interesting. Not actually interesting. Here are the few things that took me out of the movie. Let's talk
Okay.
about some negatives really quick, just because I love to be pissy. Um, here's why it took me a while to get into the movie. So there was only a few things that I didn't like. First was the beginning. I don't like that kind of hurry up, let's get him to this place. And like the judge says to him, you can either go to jail or go to this detention place. And I'm like, even if he stole the shoes, like his sentencing, it's like, and like I've read Lord of the Flies. I don't like Lord of the Flies. And it just takes so long for me to like any of the boys, even when he gets like I didn't like anyone. Everything at the beginning just is so unrealistic that the suspension of disbelief took me a while to get there. Like it really took me a while. And no offense, John Voight, you didn't help the suspension of disbelief because there was nothing real about his
Right.
character that you're like, this is, like no judge is going to look at a kid who stole a pair of shoes and go, well, you're either, this 12-year-old, you're either going to go to jail or 18 months to dig holes out in the desert. Like that's a long ass sentence for something that is like very minute. And the fact that like
They
it
were
was just
really expensive shoes.
they were very expensive shoes. And that brings me to point B of what took me out is that he has a flashback of Sweet Feet. Is that the dude who's the
That's the,
baseball
I
player
guess,
whose shoes Sweet
baseball
Feet?
player, someone whose shoes they were. Yeah.
I didn't think he had a trial because he just had a sentencing. He was not like, because they even say at that sentencing there, he's like, just tell him the truth. Like they even said, we don't need to do any of that, we just need to tell the truth. That's what the family says. Cut to
Right.
the
They don't
next
need a
day.
lawyer.
Yeah, they don't need a lawyer because Stanley will just tell the truth. Cut to them in the courtroom and it goes straight to the guy going, no, it's either jail or digging holes. And he's like, well, I guess I'm digging holes. And then he goes off to the holes. And then there's a flashback of Sweet Feet on the witness stand talking about, oh, I give it to homeless or the orphans because I was an orphan. And anyone who steals my shoes is no fan of mine. And I'm just like, when in the course of history did he actually have a trial? That Sweet Feet was on the stand, that this would have ever, ever, ever taken place. Like, I get that to then have him come around in the end to do like the thing for his father, you kind of have to establish
Yeah.
that he was negative. But to me, I was like, dude. And then he gets
Yeah.
there, and of course, the boys are mean, but I don't understand
At,
male relationships. You
at
guys are
that
stupid.
point, yeah, at that point, I was like, okay, so we're going more fairy tale vibe, where yeah,
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense. That wouldn't happen, but it's a fairy tale. It's
Yeah.
fine. But then that's not tonally how the rest of the movie works. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's so many yeah, it was a weird sort of so that's why it took me so long to get into
hmm.
is because I was like, so much going on.
Yeah, like I
And
said,
yet
it took me an
kind
hour
of
to start vibing with it.
nothing going on. But once storylines kind of sort of started to connect and some of the payoffs were good.
Yeah.
Once tiny little payoffs started happening, I was like, okay, I'm
You
with
know,
you. I'm with you.
you know what the containers in the overturned boats in the overturned boat are.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Um,
that's so
I
exciting.
really love the reveal for the fact that the secret Henry Winkler's secret ingredients for deodorizing shoes is the combination of
The peaches and the onions,
our
yeah.
two lovers uh what they were trading back and forth. um do you think someone, with the constant "I can fix that," were you getting "As You Wish" vibes?
Yes.
I'm like, okay,
So much.
someone likes Princess Bride, but
I
okay.
even said it. I was like, oh my God, he's her Wesley. I can fix that. And he
Yes.
says it so nicely too. I'm like, you're so pretty. So
Yeah.
the only other part that really, really pissed me off, because
Oh,
again,
okay.
takes me a moment to get into the movie, but once the payoffs start, I'm with you. Things are going good. I ended the movie in a satisfaction sort of way. I was like, I liked that. I don't need to see it again. It's not like, but it is one of those that if the kids wanted to put it on, I'd be like, you
Watch it
know
with
what?
them,
I can
sure.
be in this room. That's fine. Because
Yeah.
there are some movies that if they turn it on, I would make my escape. I'd be like, you know what?
Ow.
Have a good 2 hours. Bye. Actually, take that downstairs because I don't want it in my living room.
Yeah.
There are some things that are not for the living room TV. Matilda is one of them, by the way.
Which one? The newer one or
Matilda.
the
Any storyline that includes Matilda storyline is
oh,
one that I hate.
okay.
Bitter, bitter hatred for that story. I don't even like going to the theater to see it, and the kids are and it comes around all the time because it's like the kids musical. Everyone go to the thing to see Matilda, and I'm
I
like,
you
but
know
why?
the Mara Wilson one from the 90s was, I was, well, that one culturally hit pretty hard. That was a really popular
Yes,
kids
that's
film.
the one that the kids watch that one a lot, and I'm like,
Yeah,
count it
there was one that came out
out
a
of my
year or
head.
two ago, I think on Netflix, and they did the musical version of it. I'm like, I
Oh
actually
yeah.
kind of want to watch it because it's a musical, but I never got around to it.
You know what? I don't want to keep anyone else like make up your own mind.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I know what my mind is. No, the thing is, so here's where it is. So they're digging their holes, right?
Hmm.
5 foot by 5 foot,
Yeah.
the width of the shovel, and which or the length and width of the shovel, which I think was smart. I'm like, hey, look at that. However, Mr. Caveman, because I forget his first name, Shia LaBeouf, Stanley. How did I forget Stanley? He's the freaking. We've been saying it this whole time, but it's because I'm thinking outside. He's digging and he finds the bullet shaped lipstick, right?
Yeah.
Right. And he gives it to X-Ray. And then he puts like a little rock on the hole where he found the bullet
Right. On the lip or edge of the hole, right? But
so that
a
he has
very
marked.
conspicuous rock, right?
Yes, a very obvious. There is a rock on the edge of this thing. Again, there's a million holes, and once you've dug your hole and you didn't find anything, you move on. Excellent,
Mhm.
whatever. So there's probably rocks on a lot of holes. Whatever. I'm not concerned about the rock. What I'm concerned about is that when you finally meet the warden, Madam Sigourney Weaver, and she comes out and she basically makes them dig up that entire area because she's like, you found the bulleted lipstick here. There is going to be more here. So let's just dig this entire area. And they made archways. They basically made,
Excavated the entire place. Yeah.
and somehow that hole went untouched. And it had to have been close because doesn't he like toss it to X-Ray? Or even if he doesn't, like they're talking, like he hits it and X-Ray hears it and is like,
Well, X-Ray, he gives it to one of the other kids who's, bullying him, asserting dominance and that crap. And he says, it's the end of the day now, so you should hold on to it until tomorrow, like you found it in the morning. So
oh,
they
so
were
they're
in
in
a
a new
different spot the
area.
next day when he says, "Hey, I
Okay.
found a bullet here in this hole that I'm digging," which is probably somewhere nearby, but not in the same
Okay.
exact area.
Because they do establish him looking back at it while they're excavating.
Mhm.
Because they're like, what are we looking for? And she's like, we'll know when we find it, or whatever the thing is. And they do a cut of Stanley like looking back, and then they show the rock just to be like, remember, guys, establish this rock means that hole that he found the thing in. And I'm like, that makes me happier though. You explained it in a way that I'm like, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I can allow that. It's not far. It's not close, but it's not far, but it's definitely not in the
Right.
vicinity that they're okay. Because I was really like, how did they excavate that much and not hit that hole that was right there? And or
You think
move
at
that
some
rock?
point Sigourney, Tim Blake Nelson, and John Voight would have like pooled their resources and just rented a friggin' excavator for a week or two and just dug up the entire place. I don't know. It seems like a really I mean, I don't know. But there
There
might
are
have
things.
been better approaches. Yeah. Did you try metal detector at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's and like, yeah, that is true. That is
I
true.
do love the reveal, which of why the or the spotted lizards don't attack the boys at the end of the movie, and it's not explicitly stated. It's a throwaway line in the denouement where they talk about, thank God we ate all those damn onions. It's like that's why the lizards didn't bite them, because it's
They're
onions.
like, nope, I'm out. I'm
But
out.
yeah,
Can
no.
you imagine their breath? I mean, they probably didn't smell it anymore anyways, but like they ate a lot of onions. Oh, that was another thing. By the way, like when he starts running and he like when he takes the truck, runs it into a hole and then starts running, I'm like, you don't have any water, dude. I said that like we were watching together and I was like, he doesn't have any water. Zero. And then he gets to zero. And Zero's like, do you have any water? And he's like, no, but we are going to scale the tallest, like, it
We're
should
gonna
have,
free climb this
we're
giant
going
thing
to,
while carrying a shovel.
while carrying a shovel, free climbing, no water. And then I'm going to carry you the rest of the way because I have to carry you up the hill for the
Mhm.
to break the curse, which I totally loved. I was like, look at it happening. I like
Did
it
did
must
they
be really well.
ever? It either it was lost, not something adapted from the book, or I just missed it. How did Stanley know the song? Was that ever established at any
Yeah,
point?
so during one of the flashback scenes, the three Stanleys are sitting at the table eating. It's during one of the like, or actually, it's in one of the beginning of the movie. Maybe when he's gonna go to uh port or whatever, and the grandpa and Henry Winkler sing it.
Do they? Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
they're singing it at the table. And then it's when he has like the bandage and stuff on his lip. So yeah, this was when
Mm.
this was early in the movie or a flashback, but either way, he has the bandage on his lip and he's at the table and he's like kind of bopping and the mom is like, I don't want to hear that song because she's very upset at everything that's happening and that the men are just like, I'm singing this song. And he's laughing. So yes, that's how he knew the song. Because you hear the song first from the family. Then you hear it from Eartha and Backflash dude, Flashback dude,
Yeah, him.
and then
The guy who's
Stanley.
like a pretty girl. I must skip every step straight to marriage. You don't want to get to like know her first? What if she's stupid?
Dude, I was so proud though
Yeah,
that
he's
he was
like,
like, you
keep the
know what?
pigs, I'm out.
Keep that pit. I'm out of this. And I was so, because, yeah, I was definitely happy about that because I'm like, is she putting him on right now? Is she like, I don't know which pig is bigger? Oh my God. Like, I'm like, is she playing? Dude, she's not playing. Oh, she's quite daft.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the guy is pretty presumptuous, and she doesn't know him from Adam. But
Correct.
I mean, she's not doing the thing. It's like, I don't know either of these chuckleheads, you know. But I
Right.
mean, she is being presented with, you know, a plate of food and a plate of dog do. It's like you
Right.
go with the
Well,
edible thing, you know, if
I
that's the
also
only choice.
think, unfortunately, um, they had a scene in there very close to right before that. Like 10 minutes before that, they had a scene where he um meets the father and asks for her hand in marriage. And he's like, "You too, I'm sitting here with this guy, and he's going to offer me his biggest pig. What are you going to offer me?" And he says, "A heart full of love." And she hears that and she goes, "Oh." And I thought,
And
"Oh,
she's doing her laundry, and she
yeah,"
like, as she like clutches her heart, she also puts a bunch of
clutches
sudsy water to
the
her chest.
sudsy
That was
water.
funny. I like
That
it.
was funny, but it was also her doing that, and her overhearing that made me think that maybe they had already, maybe there was a,
Yeah.
because like Miss Catherine and Sam
Oh,
have
he
kind of
likes
a,
me. This guy who has a
yeah,
nice
and
plate.
that he's already said that. So now the fact, and she thought that was sweet. So now the fact that she's being presented with a man who, like, dowry is even, this man also has a heart full of love and brought you flowers, and this one obviously has a
And a
sweating problem.
sweet ass.
Yeah, but like, and then she's still like, hoo hoo hoo, and I'm like, maybe they should have not, which I did think was funny
Yeah,
because
I
it is
mean,
dumb,
but
but it did make me
this was
think
also
something.
the whole this was the origin of this was the legend. So
Right.
I I accepted the heightened reality of the whole thing, you know,
Yeah.
because
And
it's clear that most of this is probably just bullshit and wrong.
yeah, like he didn't let her marry. There could,
This
yeah,
is just
because it
what
was,
the story's evolved to at this point.
yeah, that's very true. That is very true. But it was kind of, it was we I was like, that is so weird. But at the same token, I see what you're saying. And but I was very proud of him for walking away. I wasn't very proud of him for not going back to Eartha
We're
Kitt.
not
But
going.
then
How do
again,
you forget Eartha Kitt? How do you forget Eartha Kitt? What is
right,
wrong with you?
right. She's like, "When you're done, you carry me up the mountain." And I'm just like, okay. Like, I get that that's a big ask. But maybe he also didn't just forget about her. He was like, "Well, that didn't work anyway. She's not mine. Why would I come back?" Like, but then you also gave away your fucking pig. Like, maybe you should have taken the pig back and been like, "Yo,
Well, it's
magic,
not like
whatever
it.
canceled because here's your pig."
Yeah.
Either way, very wasn't a bad sit. I was surprised it was 2 hours when we went to sit and watch it last night. I was
Turned it
like,
on. It's like, okay, holes. Oh god, it's 2 hours.
I literally was like, this will be a nice, quick, hour and a half moment of my life. Because A, 2003, shorter movies, and B, kids movie. Kids don't have a 2 hour attention span, but it is one of those things. Like, I will say, this doesn't happen all the time. This movie did make me want to read the book, though,
Yeah, I'll
because
agree with that. Yeah,
I
I'm curious as to
I'm
what
curious.
didn't make the cut. Um
Yeah.
and yeah, I agree. I'm actually curious to check out the source.
Yeah, and
Um
because I the story at the end again, like that whole history, the family story, and how it all comes together and all that, it is really well told and well conceived, and I was happy with that, and
yeah.
so not a very sexual movie, but to be called holes, but
Yeah.
I
But
did it.
it does have holes in a lot of them, and there's a bunch of overhead shots of the landscape just
Dude,
pockmarked with holes. So if you're trypophobic,
I
do
was
not watch this film.
that was the first thing I said, because that, like,
That
opening when they,
opening
I
overhead
was
shot, I'm
like,
like, man,
dude,
I'm
there are
glad I'm
some,
not trypophobic. That would not be a
yeah,
pleasant. I would not be in for a pleasant time.
there are some people that I immediately was like, oh, that would make some people very uncomfortable. Whereas, I am fine with that.
Eh,
I'm a pimple popper from way back, baby. So So, brother, do you have anything else to say? But how did you like? Are you glad it's over the movie, or like what is your?
It took me about half the film to really vibe with it, but overall, I enjoyed it well enough. Like you said, I ended the film satisfied.
Yeah.
Not, it's like, yeah, not gonna watch that again. Probably not going to think too heavily about it. Wouldn't mind reading the book, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not entering like it's not making my favorites of 2023 or anything like that.
No, no. We'll have to. I have a movie that I want to talk to you about after
Or
this.
2024 this is what are we in April?
Yes, we are in
Yeah.
April. It took me a moment. I'm like, I don't know. There is a winter village, right?
Yeah, we record these a few months in advance, so
This
Kelly
lives
still got
there,
a
though.
Christmas tree up. So
That will always be there
yeah.
because that is my Nightmare Before Christmas tree. In zero is at the top. Wait, where? Zero. Not
To
to be
give listeners
confused.
an idea, as it's December 29th as we record this.
That it is. That it is. Um, Good. Well, good. I'm glad that worked. I feel like this month, fun with both Holes and Fun with Dick and Jane were
Fun
ones
with
that
holes.
fun with
Fun with Dick
Holes.
and Jane's holes.
Oh boy.
It just
Um, Not great movies, but ones that were enjoyable enough that when I was like, this was kind of like a non-stressful month of movie.
yeah, yeah. Nothing pissed me off, and Fun with Dick and Jane actually made me curious to watch the remake with Jim Carrey and Tia Leone.
Did you
And
watch it yet?
not yet. No, for some reason I've been on a I'm only going to watch Christmas movies this month.
Did you watch Violent Night?
I did, well, I saw that back in like June or something, but yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Love that movie.
But and I wouldn't mind reading Holes. I'll have to see if my library has it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Um,
to do that too.
but before we move to next month
Oh yes.
and
Oh
next
yes.
month's theme, what were some of the other movies you were thinking about recommending that
So
have titles that could be pornos?
obviously Sausage Party, which that food one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is something that I say all the time. I'm like, all right, kiss kiss bang bang, which
Yeah,
could be
I didn't have that on my list, but I did have Chitty Chitty Bang Bang on it.
oh, that's fun. And then Snatch is
Snatch.
a good
How
one.
did I not have that on the list either?
What did you have on the list?
Oh, I had a few. I had Black Snake Moan.
Right,
Um,
right.
I saw it in the theater.
I've never seen it.
It's weird. It's not bad. It's just weird. It's at a Sam Jackson
Yeah,
and
Christina
Christina
Ricci.
Ricci movie.
Yeah.
Weird damn movie.
Hmm.
A guy chains up. Sam Jackson chains up Christina Ricci for her own good.
I've seen the cover art, and that's what the cover art looks like, is her
Yeah,
sitting there.
yeah,
Very
but
nice costume.
it's a character drama, and as far as those, premise aside, pretty decent character drama. Both Sam and Christina act their asses off and are just so damn charismatic that they're both eminently watchable. So anyway, but yeah, Black Snake Moan, Blow.
Oh gosh, yes. Okay. That's with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz.
Uh, I'm gonna have to look this because I forget who's in this in case you don't. Yeah, comedy. Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. They came together. I'm not kidding.
Oh, did they then?
Did
Good.
well,
That's how it should be done, my
yeah.
friends. That's how it should be done.
Well done. Now do YouTube tutorials or something. The 400 blows. Dick.
Yeah, yeah.
Holes was actually on my list, which is a Dick.
Oh,
Holes.
another good one is Inside Llewellyn Davis.
Inside Llewellyn Davis is on my list too. The Harder They Come. It Comes at Night.
It Comes at Night. Not a good film.
The Nut Job.
Is that the
That
squirrel
animated
one?
squirrel movie. Yeah. It's
That's a,
fun. I've seen it. I think I actually have it. It's fun.
that's cute.
And then one somehow I didn't think of until after I recommended the movie. I was like, damn it, I would have picked that if I thought about it.
Oh,
The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I've always wanted to see that once I
and
found out it wasn't a porno and
that's
had Dolly
Dolly,
Parton in
right?
it. Hmm?
That's Dolly. Is
Yeah,
she in that?
yeah,
I've never seen it either. I actually
yeah.
don't know anything about it other than that's what it's called.
And it's not a porno.
And it's has Dolly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not a porno. But
no,
yeah,
exactly.
it's interesting how many there actually are because
Movies with titles that sound like they could be pornos. Yeah,
yeah, they're really it's a thing. But this one, Holes, was just the first thing that, and I was like, you know what, it's time. All signs point to, plus the theater that I do my house managing at, they actually did they performed Holes last year. Of course, as a house manager, I don't watch anything.
yeah.
So like they can do a million things, but then they always, they being the directors and patrons, always think that I've seen every show that comes through because I'm there. And I'm like, that's not how house management works.
My job
but
isn't to sit and watch them.
but that's what you think. So everyone would be like, oh, it's so good, and oh, that story is this. So it was always been like talked up. So like it was inevitable that someday I needed to see this film. Now I've seen it, and we can move on. So yes, excellent. Lots that we could have chosen from. We chose what we did. We talked about what we did, and thus ends could have been a porno month. But movie mandates does continue in May with maybe it's as good as I remember. Sorry, I had to. So, is it as good as I remember? Brother, what movie are we going to watch that you once loved and hopefully will after we watch it again?
Yeah, this is another one that I had a bunch of titles on my short list.
Yeah.
And some of the things I wrote are just not available on any streaming service. For example, there's a few older anime movies that I've always looked back fondly on, but I haven't seen them in well over 20 years. So I'm wondering, like Ninja Scroll or Dirty Pair Project Eden, would do those hold up? Would I still like them? But you would have to, they're not even in Redbox. I'd either have to mail you my DVDs
Oh
or
my.
something. So we're gonna go with a I believe late 90s movie that we both saw in the theater, and I'm pretty sure we both liked. The Faculty.
With my husband.
Yes, Elijah Wood is in it. So yeah, I remember we saw this in the theater back in, when did this come out? Is it like 99 or something? Like, let's see. 98. Yeah, I mean, it is very nice. Josh Hartnett's in it, Clay Duvall, Jordana Brewster's in it. You and I saw this in the theater, and it's a
Phoebe
pod
Newworth is
people
in it.
movie. Hmm?
Phoebe Newworth. Legs for Days. She plays the principal.
Oh, yeah. Also, let's see, what's her name?
Piper Laurie.
Famke Jensen in it. Salma Hayek.
Piper Laurie, right?
Piper Laurie's in it.
That's right. That's right.
I think Robert Patrick is the coach. Jon Stewart's in it.
Robert Patrick is the coach. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to rewatch this
Yeah.
movie because I do recall liking it a lot.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, pod people kind of movie. It's almost 25 years old now. We saw it in the theater, and I remember us both really digging it. So I'm looking forward to revisiting it and seeing if it's as good as we remember.
It's 25 years old. What is going on in life? How is that possible? There are friends that
we were teenagers when we saw
I was in high school in 98.
Yeah.
My colleague whom I work with wasn't even born. She's 24. And well, great. I'm excited. I'm so excited. And if you want to watch The Faculty too, check out the description to see where it is currently streaming and or available to rent. I don't know why I say and or. First off, it's not written there. It's not written at all.
Did you write and/or in your script?
I didn't.
No?
I didn't. It says where it's currently streaming or available to rent. And I just add it. And that's dumb because no one's going to choose the rent option if it is available for streaming.
Yeah, if it's streaming on a platform that you subscribe to, don't rent it.
Go to that one.
just stream it.
Anyways,
I own a copy, so I'm just gonna watch my DVD.
I probably own a copy. I probably do own a copy.
Hey, it's streaming on Hoopla, which is the library
one.
service.
Yep. All right. So check out the description to where it's streaming or available to rent. And until then, you can watch Moving Mandates on YouTube or listen to it in podcast form on iTunes. And hey, if you enjoy the show, you want us to reach a wider audience, we'd really appreciate that. And engagement is key. So you're watching on YouTube, you're going to like, you're going to comment, you're going to subscribe, you're going to ring bells. And if you're on iTunes, please rate and review. Much obliged. We thank you very much. And until then, I am Kelly, and you can follow my Instagram at Pimento Lydia. Only one O.
And I'm Andrew. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen.
And we hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates, and we will be back soon with another mandated movie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.